Now you probably notice there's no studs in the end of this hub. Well, that's because I haven't put them in yet. So how do we put studs in? Well, first of all, these come with nuts and washers and everything like that, including the studs. But you want to find yourself another nut, because the nuts that come with them are nylock, and you don't want to ruin them on the first go. So find another one. These is just an M8. Find yourself a nut, put it on there, run that down just till it hits the nylon. And just lock those two together. Okay. Drop a Loctite. I'll try that again. A little drop of Loctite. I'm just using the blue. Screw it in. Now these are blind, so they are going to bottom out, but I always like to have the Loctite on there anyway. And once you get it in there, just tighten it up. Unlock those nuts. Move on to the next one. Throw all this back together. I just wanted to show something here on the bearing mounts. Now I'm using 16mm bolts with these square inset coach bolts, most people refer to them as. Now unfortunately they didn't fit really well into the cutout on the bearing holders, so all I did here was just took a square file and just filed out the corners and the edges a little bit, so that the bolts sit in there. Well, they're not super tight, but they're not going to turn, they're not going to go anywhere. Alright, let's get this beast in place. Okay, now just reposition the camera so you can see down that axle. There is the keyway, so that needs to go probably about there. Oh look, blood. Just gonna nip this down for now. Obviously it's not lined up. No, I like that better. Okay. Yeah, obviously there's no keyway in there. It's not lined up. All I'm doing is just making sure it doesn't flop around on the axle a bit. Okay, well that's not going to work. Alright. Put that on there like that. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to wind these adjusters in a bit. These adjusters. Just so that I can get a bit more reach and a bit more pull on the arms, because they are going to be the only thing holding this thing in place. Okay, now what I'm going to do. Put that on, and I'm going to pull these two together. Continuing on, you remember I've locked the caliper together with the C-clamp, and I've just got that sitting on a lump of ply just to give me the right height that I want. And you can see there, the bracket's about level. And what I've done with this, I've cut out the ends so that it sits down onto the, or around I should say, the tube. So it's not level there, it's actually sitting down into it. I've still got a big gap between the bracket and the caliper, so that's all good. So now I'm just going to tack all that in place, and I have measured it across here, both ends, just to make sure it's centered. So now I'm just going to tack that in place and weld her in later. Kidding me? Well, for some reason yesterday, welder didn't really want to play nice. The ended up being the tip was grabbing the cable and just feeding it straight back. It was winding in, but not coming out. So anyhow, off camera, I tacked and welded all the bracket together, and then I've just now tacked it to the frame. So it's all in place. It all looks good. Spin the disc, and it looks pretty good. It's not rubbing on anything. So basically now I have to take the caliper back off, I have to drop the axle out, weld all this in place, give it a coat of paint, something, and then I'll be just about ready to put the engine on. Speaking of the engine, I managed to get the clutch off and flipped it around, and now I'll show you in a minute, it lines up pretty well. One thing I did have to do, let's see if I can get in there, down in there, just there, you can see that spacer there. I basically had to create a spacer. It's just out of a bit of 3mm plate, so that there was no movement here. Once I did the bolt up, there's obviously still a bit of movement there. You expect that, you need that, but the clutch body itself is hard on the shaft now, it's not moving. So now that's ready to put on. I tried starting this thing yesterday, but that didn't work. I checked for spark, pulled the spark plug out and laid it on the top of the motor. Plenty of spark. Sprayed some degreaser down inside the intake, and it started, which tells me it's a fuel delivery problem. So I unbolted the bowl off the bottom of the carby, and there was fuel flowing out. It's getting fuel to the carby. The only thing that left is the jet is blocked, which lives up in here. So I had to take the carby off because oh, you can't really get, that's not straight, and that's not going to work to get the jet out. So I had to take it off. While I had it off, I cleaned out the jet and the emulsion tube inside, the delivery tube that goes up the middle. So now it should run. Now all I've got to do is put all this back together. Carby's back on, everything's connected. Let's see if we get some fuel out the bottom. And there's our fuel. Oh, okay, now we can put the bowl back on. Alright, bowl's back on, now we put the filter on. Turn the fuel on now so it'll run in a bit. Long thread on that. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now let's see if this will start. Yeah! Starts right up. Great. Now one last thing we need to do, just to button up this whole thing, is refit the accelerator cable. Now I had to pull the cable off this one to use for another project. Got a new cable here. Well, it doesn't look new, it's got a few kinks in it, that's alright. Now, when fitting a new cable, it's always a good idea, get a dob of grease and lay that on the inner cable. Be pretty liberal with it. What that does is it helps it glide through the outer sheath, but it also inhibits corrosion, rust, so the two don't bind up. Let me feed that through there, in there, and that into there. Popping out that end any second now. Ah, there it is. Set that into there. Now we're going to run up into here. Right, now first thing to do is feed this up to there like that. I'll locate that little lug in the hole and screw it down. Now you don't need to swing off this screw. That's held quite tight enough. Now what I'm going to do, because this return spring doesn't work so well, I'm going to actually use this spring in the line. I'll put that on there like that. So that will give me the spring action I need. Now for my money, this is actually the simplest way to do this, because most people, I mean some people, they'll attach a spring from here over to the muffler mount, or on this arm back onto the cowl, but for my money, this is the simplest way to do it, because there it is, the spring action's right there. The hardest part is actually doing up this nut and bolt. Well, it's all done. Just need a test drive. Carby's been giving me a bit of hassle, so I'll get into that later. That's not the big issue. The big issue is the axle replacement. So I'm about to go for a quick run and see how it goes. On. That'll help. Well, that seemed to be going okay. Seems the chain needs a bit of adjustment, but I'll get onto that. That's no problem. Everything else works great. Call that a win.
You win?
Thanks for watching.
You win.
See you next time.